Hello, everybody. This is a guided intuitive tarot message for my water signs. So thank you for being here. Thank you for watching this. If you're a water sign, such as a Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, then this message is for you. If you are a cross watcher, you are welcome to watch as well. Or if you have, we all have little bits of each zodiac in our chart, but if you have it in your sun, moon, or rising sign, then there's probably a message for you. Now, before I tap into your collective energy, I meditate on music, and I do that through whatever kind of comes up. So this time it was Frank Sinatra. That was a really prominent vibe for you. My third eye is on, so I can feel like I'm really connected with your energy right now. So the song was, the one where he sings like, "That's life." I'll have to look up the words in a second here. Yeah, I was pulling up those lyrics. That is very prominent for you. Just stuff about, oops, sorry, I don't want to play the music on here. Otherwise YouTube gets on me and I don't want to violate their conditions. But the song is basically, that's life. That's the way it goes. Riding high in April, shot down in May. So something about April, May might be a significant time period for you or whoever you're dealing with. But this is definitely a love reading, a love leaning reading. It's also like, you might be choosing to leave a relationship, or there might be even a twin flame in your energy or somebody that's nostalgic from your past here. Because I pull a traditional Celtic cross spread because I am Celtic, so it seems fitting. But basically the first card you have here, my water signs, is Knight of Cups. Not only is this like a water energy, it's emotions, it's love, it's an offer of love coming into you. But your challenge here is the Six of Cups. So you have a lot of emotions in your energy at this time. There's an opportunity or an offering of love. This could be someone from the past, because usually the Six of Cups represents somebody that's from your past. Kind of, it can be a blast from the past, or it could be like somebody that you were in a long-term relationship with, or knew since you were children, or something along those lines. But the foundation of the situation is the Fool. The Fool is a card about new beginnings, new cycles. Frank Sinatra actually has a great album called Cycles, and you might want to check that out if you're going through stuff, which we all are. But particularly the song, I believe it is a song called Cycles. It's a very lovely song that I would recommend listening to, especially if you're going through like hardship or heartbreak or something along those lines. It can be very shifting or changing for you, but you are the Fool right now because you have an opportunity here to start a new journey. Now, in the recent past, you have this High Priestess energy, so I do feel like you're really tapped into your divine feminine energy. And this message is for men and for women both. We all have divine feminine energy. We all have divine masculine energy. It's literally our yin and our yang. The fine balance is finding the fine balance. So you really want to be a master of both the masculine and the feminine. It's basically the lion and the lamb, and you want to lean into one and lean into the other when necessary. So in the past here, you have this High Priestess, which means to me that you're very tapped in, you're very divinely guided, and you have this internal gnosis. You very much know what's happened and why it's happened. And I pulled a clarifier on this too, just to see kind of what is at play here. This is kind of, I think of this as a Libra card just because there's a scale of balance there, but something maybe to do with a Libra, but definitely something about equality or reciprocity and fairness was not maybe in alignment in the past, but I feel like you really do understand fully now why whatever had to happen happened. And it is, with it comes justice, but I do feel like there is baggage in your past and your subconscious here too, because you have the Ten of Wands, and the Ten of Wands is a card about carrying all of these wands of the past that we have with us. So nine of Wands is the wounded warrior, but Ten of Wands is like carrying around this burden, this baggage, this remorse, this sorrow with you, and that's in your subconscious energy. So I feel like you're still hanging on to the past a tiny bit, even though you're moving forward. And I think you have a pretty good understanding of, why someone is the way that they are, or why something had to happen maybe in a particular way. But in your present energy, you have the Four of Pentacles. This can be a card about establishing boundaries. It can be a card about saving like money financially to move or to move out. I do feel like some of you are definitely moving. on your own. You're moving out on your own or something along those lines. Like you're going to try to stand on your own 2 feet, just because I'm kind of jumping ahead a little bit, but you have the 9 of Pentacles and the Chariot in your outcome here. So there may be a new opportunity here for a career situation, but whatever is happening, there is karma at play, because in your near future you have the Queen of Pentacles, and that's a card about like luck and savings and comfort, control, like living stably. And then you have the Justice card. So if there has been a time in the past maybe where somebody did you dirty and they weren't fair or equitable, or they maybe took more than they should have from you, then I do feel like you are going to get that's going to come back full circle. The Justice card is here, and we're in Saturn retrograde right now. So with that means, what that means for you is basically like we have until about November 15th where a lot of karma is going to be cleared. And for most of us, we'll get to watch that play out. Sometimes you don't get to see all of it play out, but for a lot of the times you do. Now, what's in your control here? You have this Empress energy. Again, this is the divine feminine energy. So it's like you have the ability to tap into your divine feminine when you need to, when you want to. And being divine feminine isn't it's not this like damsel in distress vibe. It's like stepping up and being in your masculine when you need to be. But then, when you have this opportunity for love or commitment or a relationship, it's also being able to like let go of control and let the man or the divine masculine, take the lead. So I do feel like for a lot of you, your power and your control in the situation is your motherly instinct, your motherly energy, but it's also your divine goddess energy. And I like this card because it's the number 3 for the Empress. And I always think of Mother, Maiden, Crone. And that's tied to the, it's a witchy thing, I guess, technically, but it's not. But it's also tied to the moon. So it's like the waxing moon, the full moon, the waning moon. Like those are significant cycles that we all go through. And the moon is tied to feminine energy. So you might want to check out the lunar cycle. Now in your, this is the card of like, how do people see you? They see you as this fiery, independent person. This is kind of my witchy card because it's the Queen of Wands, and she has a cat, and she has like her little staff or her wand, whatever you want to, think of it as. And then my favorite part of this card is the sunflower, because sunflowers are great transmuters of cytotoxic chemicals, and they can alchemize something that's, quite deadly and turn it into something beautiful. And that's what I love about this card. And cats are very good spiritual protectors, so they are energetic vibrational raisers. This is scientifically proven. Like even just their purring alone can raise your energetic vibration and help cleanse negative energy. And this is on an atomic level. This isn't like some witchy woo-woo stuff. This is like science fact. Okay, if you don't believe me, go give it a Google. You'll get lost in the ether of, that and whatever, trying to understand it. But it's kind of cool when you think about it, because we as humans have something called a pineal gland or a pineal gland. If you've never heard of that, also give it a Google or check out my video on your third eye chakra, or the video I have posted here about your pineal gland, because that is a crystal that's inside our brain, but it's also a crystalline structure that's inside a lot of animals and mammals' brains, such as cats, such as whales, porpoises, dolphins, those sorts of things. But it acts as a transponder for our connection to the ether. And that's how you might be receiving transmissions or clear messages, like claircognizance, clairvoyance, those sorts of witchy gifts. They come in through your third eye, which is your pineal gland. So, and if you're still like, what is this? I don't understand. Look into the ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs of them holding something that looks like a pine cone structure that is symbolic of our pineal glands. So that's kind of just a fun random ADHD fact for you, but hopefully you look into that because I find it fascinating. Anyways, your next card is the Page of Wands. This is in your hopes and your fears. So I pulled a clarifier here because I was like, what is this Page of Wands about? Usually the Page of Wands to me means there's an opportunity for you to do something that's going to light your fire. It's going to be a passion project for you. You're going to put yourself out there. Maybe you start a new hobby. Maybe you start a new lifestyle pattern. You could be exercising. You could be joining a club. Like, like a fitness club or like a knitting group or something like that. But with the Hermit card here as a clarifier, that to me means like maybe you're not sure what you want to do yet. So you kind of need to go within and meditate and try to really self-evaluate and see what it is that you would want to do. Not just what you're doing with someone else as a hobby, but something that brings you passion and joy and sparks curiosity inside yourself again. And then lastly, this was kind of the spoiler, but you already had it. I already talked about this, but we're going to go over it again anyways. This was your outcome. So it was the 9 of Pentacles clarified by the Chariot, which to me means that some of you might be moving. You might have a job or an opportunity that requires you to move, or this relationship that you're maybe interested in pursuing is long distance, because the Chariot is usually a card of like long distance. It's also a card of making choices. So, if you're maybe not so sure about this person or this, somebody returning from the past, if there's gaslighting, if there's manipulation, if there's any toxic behavior, or if maybe you're just not able to get over whatever subconscious baggage this is, then I feel like you're making a choice to stay single. So that's generally what the cards tell me here. And again, this is a general reading. So if it doesn't resonate, just leave the message for somebody else. But if it does resonate, please smash the like button because it helps my channel grow and I greatly appreciate it. Now I'm going to go ahead and dive into your oracle cards. I have probably about 9 different decks where I pull a card from each and just see what other added messages Spirit has for you. But just remember, if this isn't, feeling like your energy, it could be just somebody in your energetic field, because energy is fluid. So it could be a message for you or somebody that's connected with you. Wow. Okay. Something about the eclipse in the lunar eclipse we just had. I want to say eclipse in Aries, but we had an eclipse in Pisces. That might be a significant time period. I think that was, when was that? End of September, possibly, is a significant time. A pivotal period for you. You made a choice possibly then, or you've had to make another big choice. Yeah, something about fire and passions and creativity. I feel like you're a bit mundane right now, or just stuck. Yeah, you're kind of in a lull spot. It doesn't feel very fun. Maybe you need to splurge on yourself a little bit and treat yourself. I think of that like Parks and Rec. The Parks and Rec show, that one show where, what was it? That was one episode. I can't remember her name and the other guy, but they were like, treat yourself. And then they went on like a shopping spree. Maybe you need to go on a little bit of a shopping spree, unless you're trying to save, and then obviously be, fiscally responsible. But I do feel like you need a little bit of spontaneity in your life, because that was the first card that came out. Was spontaneity. It says, you move beyond the constraints of the mind and freely and lovingly embrace new situations. That's all about releasing expectation and being willing to absorb the new. Now, interestingly enough, you have the box. This is your archetype. I feel like this is your challenge at this time. It's like you maybe are a person that doesn't like to draw outside the lines. But life keeps throwing you outside the lines, and I feel like at this point you kind of have no choice. So you can either pursue that creatively and try to transmute the pain, or you can keep resisting, and it's going to cause disruption, it's going to cause chaos, and it's going to cause anguish, essentially, too. Now you also have the chop wood, carry water. So I feel like, all work and no play makes, I forget what the rest of the saying is. All work and no play makes Sally a dull boy. You have to put it in the comments. I can't remember I'm sure it's not Sally, but Jane. What makes Jane a dull girl? I don't know. You'll have to tell me if you can think of it. Oh yeah, some of you are definitely traveling. The Chariot card, number 56, traveling. It says, to be the traveler means you are not at home here. You know you don't belong. Since you are only passing through, your creative involvement is limited. You cannot expect to change your surroundings, and nor should your surroundings be changing you. Be constant to your own way as you travel. And what do you bring with you into each new situation? And what does each place ask of you? And where are you going? So if you've been a bit of a nomad, that's just a confirmation for you. Home is where the heart is. It's a big, huge saying. But in this case, I do feel like it is relevant because you can make a home wherever you go. And a lot of people forget that, or a lot of people get comfortable in their environment. And then when things shift and things change, such as a flood occurs and things like that, it can make you feel like you're out of bounds and you're totally like off in this thing, and whatever box you felt like you had drawn or thought you were going to stay in, it just all of a sudden it's wiped and washed away. And that can be a bittersweet blessing. Everything in life is a lesson or a blessing. If you're wise enough, you can see things as both, but sometimes you can't see them as both. It takes time, and it takes enlightenment, and it takes perception and shifting and growing to change. But I do feel like you're doing that because you have the growth card here in your energy, and this is tied to your heart chakra. So not only are you getting wiser because of all these life lessons and these experiences, it's like you're growing on a soul level, and you're growing in your heart space, and that is very important in ascending, because if you have a closed heart, then you'll never be able to raise your vibration to align with your highest self and your highest timeline. And I feel like you're really shifting out of mindsets that aren't serving you, and you're really trying to evaluate what kind of relationships are worth your time. Now, the next card says, I am grateful for all that is unfolding in my life and all that is yet to come. I just feel like this is a message from you and your guides and things to help you maintain an attitude of gratitude, even for the hardships, because usually if we have traumatic lessons and traumatic experiences in life, it can really open your eyes to how delicate, to how simple things truly are on a base level. Even though life kind of makes things seem complicated, it's just like the joy, the pleasures, all the things are usually found in the simple things. It's usually not the big things. Now, this is what I was talking about with that eclipse. It says expect powerful change. So some shifts are happening for you like now, but they've been happening for quite some time. I just think you're going to see the fruits of your labor very soon, because you have this growth card. So it's like you're growing, and you will be seeing a return on this. It's just chop wood, carry water until something sprouts, until you can actually see it. Because right now, maybe you feel like nothing's happening, nothing's really changing, but it's all of this alchemy that's happening under the soil that's going to, cause the seed to burst above. And there's something about plants here. So maybe some of you are pursuing plants or as a hobby, or you're starting to, grow your collection of plants, which I think is cool to see with the Queen of Wands card, because I always think of like, a witchy woman who's like an herbalist with her plant, her sunflower, and then all of her cats and things like that. So maybe you're just kind of going into like hermit mode to figure out what it is you want to do and what your hobbies are, and you're just spending a lot of alone time with yourself and with your cat, with your plants. I don't know. Do what you do. Now, the next card I have for you is ACT. It says, intuition isn't just for special or momentous moments. Tap into your intuition every day and lead yourself forward with every moment. Pay mind to what you see and what you hear. Now, tapping into your intuition is not an easy feat. It can be hard to discern your mental garbage thoughts versus your inner knowing thoughts. And there are practices you can do to try to help you hone that, but it is, it's a long commitment. It's not like instantly you do this and it'll work. It's like, meditate, practice meditation. If you're like, I can't sit still, I don't like doing that. Okay, well, listen to like binaural beats, solfeggio frequencies, things that kind of get you out of your head. I think there's a study that shows even if you do like cardio, you can kind of get into a heightened gamma brainwave state, and that's where you really tap into your inner knowing, your intuition, and it kind of activates certain parts of your brain that help you tap into different dimensions. And it is scientific fact that there's different dimensions. The government has done studies on this. So again, this is not just like made up stuff. This is real, factual, proven things. So I think it was, what was it? I was watching something on Gaia. It was like the Mystic Studies lady. I can't remember her name. She's like a blonde lady, and she talks about it, but it is basically like swinging your arms while you're like doing some high activity fitness thing. Like you could be rollerblading or whatever, and listening to Mozart at the same time. And that can get you into a state of gamma brainwave function where you're kind of in flow. And, yeah, you get into kind of like a transcendental state. That's what it is, essentially. So, and if you have never seen that movie called Soul on Disney, you might want to check that out, because they get like the little soul creatures get into this transcendental vibe, and there's like a hippie guy in there. It's really funny, but it's very much so kind of a true cartoonist version of what can happen to your brainwave state. So, fun fact there. And then I think this is my last card, and then I'll stop chatting. But I have Pentacle. So protect yourself from negative and evil energies. You can draw a pentacle. It's a star. Everybody's afraid of it sometimes when you start doing things like this. But basically everything is spells. Everything is spelling. So if you think about it, the words that we speak, those are spells. When you cast hateful words and hateful intentions, it is a spell. There's a water study I like to refer to a lot by Dr. Emoto, I believe it is, and he basically takes the water molecule and speaks poorly to it, and it shows up under his microscope as this like morphed looking crystalline structure when he freezes it. And then he takes water and he talks kindly to it, and it shows up as this beautiful, symmetrical, symbiotic looking crystalline structure. So it just shows how powerful our thoughts are, and the impact that our thoughts have on a vibrational molecular level to influence something as simple as water. But guess what we're made out of? Mostly water. So when we speak negatively, even about ourselves or about someone else, it does have an effect, because it's literally a spell that we're casting, because the word spelling comes from the word spell. So when you write stuff or say stuff that's negative, it comes back around. So the pentacles thing, you could sometimes people use like evil eye, those things as protection. There's sigils you can do and draw. The pentacle is basically a sigil in a way. I don't personally do those sorts of things, but do whatever you want. I like to use crystals. I think I have a video on crystals, so you can check out the video if you're not sure what crystal to use, or if you're focused on protecting a particular chakra. I believe I reference certain crystals for certain chakras that are good as well, so you might want to check that out. But I usually just carry around like a crystal in my pocket. I think I have 2 right now. Yeah, I have black tourmaline. That's a good, I can't really see it very well. There we go. Sorry. Black tourmaline is a good protection crystal. And then I have aventurine. It's just a green. It's for luck. But yeah, those are just 2 lovely crystals that you can use to protect yourself. I also recommend saging. You can do sage spray if you have sage essential oils, or you can do a just a sage smudge stick. And if you do the sage spray and you add water, just make sure when you're adding the water, you're kind of almost like blessing the water, but you're just putting good and pure intentions into the water, and you're kind of thanking it because you're wanting to cleanse it of any negative energy or anything that's maybe not going to help you align to your highest best self, your highest best timeline. And even though that sounds a little strange, it doesn't if you actually do the research that I've done, like with Dr. Emoto. So if you feel so guided, please look that up. I just find it also interesting that, our thoughts have such an impact on everything. But at the end of the day, when we all shift off into the other realm, we are all just consciousness, loving awareness. And that's kind of what we return to at the end of our life cycle. So, yep, that was quite a tangent. Anyways, thanks for watching. I hope you made it through the rest of this video. If you did, please smash the like button. It helps my channel grow, and I greatly appreciate it. If you feel so guided and you want to book a tarot session with me, please feel free to book with the link in the description box below. Or if you want a coaching session, I can do that as well. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.